Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Thursday. It is December 10th, 2020. And I think it's about 40 degrees today, so it's not horrible. I've actually been moving a little stone today with a wheelbarrow. I built this area right through here up a little bit more. Since he did that, I wanted to make sure that this path was wider and more. I probably are going to throw some more in through here, but I did a few loads of gravel, and I'm like, okay, I'm good to go for right now. I need to widen this out here a little bit as well. I want to add some more along the edge here, so I probably will do that today as well, but I'm just taking a break from it for a moment. Okay, so title of the video: what you have been taught is wrong. Okay, and so what am I talking about? And I think this is actually something that a lot of people don't think about. This is a mantra that I have lived by literally my whole life, and it has suited me very well. So what are we raised? How are we raised? Don't throw the first punch. Don't be the one to start a fight. Don't ever be that one, right? That's what, probably a lot of your parents taught you, okay? Well, I always had a different mindset in that situation. And so first of all, the best thing to do if you can is to avoid a confrontation, if you can. If there's any way that you can possibly get out of it, you try to get out of it. You try to get out of that situation. But if that is not an option, okay, and this is a rule of thumb that I've had, like I said, literally my entire life, and it has suited me very well. If I feel, now notice what I'm saying here, my friends, okay? If I feel like that person may try to hurt me, I'm going to hurt them first, okay? Why is that, okay? Your gut's going to tell you if you're in a situation where it's that flight or fight type of situation. Well, if you can't run, then it's fight. Why are you going to wait until somebody makes that decisive first shot and then you have to react to it? Isn't it better to be the one initiating things so that they have to react, okay? Because they're probably not expecting that. If somebody's playing that tough guy role and they're trying to goad you or thinking stuff like that, they're trying to get you to back down, and they're deciding when they're going to hit you first, okay? Never be in that situation. Be the aggressor in that situation. Again, I'm going to say this again. The initial thing is you're always going to want to try to get out of the situation. You're going to try to de-escalate, get out of Dodge if you can, avoid the situation. But there are certain times when that is not an option. I've had several of them in my life, and I had to make a decision. And I'm going to tell you right now, every time that decision making came, for me it's an absolutely natural reaction. I'm going to strike first, because if I hit you first, generally you're not going to get a chance to hit me, because that's going to get followed up with whatever else I need to do maximum damage to you, to stop the threat. And again, so who am I going to go after? Here's another thing to think about. So you're in a confrontation, and let's say it's three or four guys, okay? Let's just use that number. It's always a leader in the group, always the one that's pushing that envelope, okay? The rest are generally followers. You take out that leader and you take them out hard, generally the rest of the group is going to lose their will to fight. Now, that's not always going to be the case, but you definitely want to take the leader out first if you can, because he's usually going to be the one up front running his mouth, talking smack, okay? That's the guy you want to hurt first. Absolutely. There might be one other guy out of the other ones that are going to step up and say, yep, I'm in. But other than that, I think the other ones a lot of times are going to be a lot more hesitant, because if you are the one initiating what needs to be done, that scares people, okay? Because then they know, oh crap, this dude is willing to go all the way. Always be that one. Like I said, I have been in a situation, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be story time. So In 1988, I was at we went and saw Running Man, the movie Running Man. It was me, my little brother, and one of his best friends. And so my little brother was on crutches with a broken leg. The other kid was a grand total of 100 and maybe 8 pounds soaking wet. All right. I think I was maybe, let's see. Well, in 88, I would have been 23. So I was 23 years old. They are both 4 years younger than me, so they're both like 19. And so what happened was, we went and saw the movie Running Man. And was it 88 or was it 86? I don't. It was in there. I think my conviction ended up in 88. I know that. So maybe it was 87. Maybe it was 86. I don't know. The whole thing took a while afterwards. But anyway, so what happened was we had a 12-pack of beer. We each had 4 beers. Went in, saw the movie. There was words exchanged with some people in the movie theater. Okay. And so we get out of the movie theater and we're kind of standing around. Didn't see them. So they were gone. Okay. So we're like, all right, let's go. So we're going back to my car, and my brother says to me, Ed, those guys are staring at us. I'm like, who cares? Screw them, right? So we get over to the car, and my brother says to me again, Ed, they're still staring. So me being me at the time, being young and being full of piss and vinegar, I turn around and go, you got a problem with something? Well, apparently they did. We ended up being confronted by 4 guys and a girl with empty beer bottles. So that was fun. So I reached into my car, and I used to carry a billy club in my car. It was a plastic PVC pipe that I had packed full of dirt, and I had taken black electrical tape and wrapped it up. It was pretty solid. It was really nice, actually. So what happened was, I pulled out my billy club, and I'm like, listen, we don't want no problems. We're just going to get in the car and we're going to go. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to de-escalate it, even though I was, running my mouth. I'm trying to de-escalate it because I know we're in big trouble. Because realistically, it is not 5-on-3. It's 5-on-1. Okay? So the one guy says, you're not going anywhere. So I was holding it down by my waist, and the biggest guy of the group, their leader, kept coming closer and closer to me. So we got all the boys and girls here. Everybody ready to go in? Go ahead. Go on. Get in there. Get in. All right. So the leader of their group kept coming closer and closer and kept saying, you're not going to do nothing. You're not going to do nothing. And I remember, and I'll never forget this, guys, as long as I live, we were in big, big trouble, and I knew it. I remember in my head saying, should I hit this MF? And as soon as my brain said, yes, you should, my arm reacted. And I came down from down at my waist level, so down here. I came up at this angle, and I hit him in the side of the head. Now, in hindsight, I'm lucky I didn't kill the guy, because I hit him as hard as I possibly could. I found out later, through pictures in court, I took out 2 of his molars. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. How hard do you have to hit somebody here in the side of the head to knock out 2 of their molars? Pretty hard, okay? So he goes down. Now, up to that point, I was very, very concerned, very, very scared, naturally. As soon as I hit him and he went down, then just flipped that switch. So then I stand in front of my car and I went, okay, who else wants some of it? Now they're backing off. The rest of them are, because I just took out their leader, okay? The chick started coming running at me, and I raised up the billy club, and I'll tell you honestly, I would have hit her, because if she had come the rest of the way to me, and I couldn't let her get me tangled up, because then the other ones would have jumped me, and then that would have been the end of the game. So I raised up that billy club above my head. She veered off and went to him. That was her boyfriend, okay? At this point, I look over my shoulder. I see my little brother standing there, and I tell him, I go, get in the car. And I didn't say it in that words, but basically the gist was get in the car. And so he's scrambling to get in the car. And I got to remember, he's got a broken leg. He's on crutches. I backed up, jumped in the car. A couple of them jumped in front of the car. He's like, they're in front of the car. I go, they'll get out of the way, and I drove through them. Now, in that situation, you don't have a lot of time to think. You don't have a lot of time to react, okay? Now, the gist of what ended up happening was, the whole story is, I was initially charged with first-degree assault, second-degree reckless endangerment, and fourth-degree possession of a criminal weapon. We ended up going to a grand jury. They threw the assault charge out because they came at us. We weren't the aggressors in this situation because they had come to us. There was independent witnesses that saw the whole thing, obviously. You're in a parking lot, just coming out of the movie theater. And, we were in fear. So, I had to do what I had to do. Now, again, I tried to get out of it. Now, again, my own fault in the very beginning for talking smack, saying, you got a problem. Well, apparently, like I said, they did. And it was just a bad situation. Probably could have been avoided by my part completely, but it didn't. When we were in that situation and we were confronted, then, obviously I tried to de-accelerate at that point, but it was too late. So I had to do what I had to do to protect me, my brother, and the other gentleman that was with us. And it was, like I said, it was a really bad situation. But again, when I went to court and I stood before the judge, I said, Your Honor, if I was in the same situation again, I would do the exact same thing. I said, because it was them or us. And I knew it. And I knew it in my heart it was them or us. We were going to either get our butts stomped into a mud hole, or I was going to do what I needed to do. Well, that's what I did. I did what I needed to do. Again, being the aggressor a lot of times gives you the advantage. So the moral is of the story, again, being that aggressor, it puts the ball in your court. You're the one making the decisions. You're not waiting on that person to make the decision and then reacting to them. You're being the aggressor. You're making them react to you. Again, I will say this again. If you can avoid a situation, try to avoid a situation. But sometimes we can't. We cannot. Okay? So being able to protect yourself and knowing that you need to do what you need to do. If you have that mindset already, it's a lot easier to react in that time of panic and fear. I can't even begin to tell you what that feels like unless you've been in that situation. And I'm sure some of the gentlemen out here watching this video are going to say, yes, they've been in that situation as well. And you either, like I said, you do what you got to do. If you don't, a lot of times you're going to get a mud hole stomped in your butt. I'm not down for that. That's not my thing. I don't like getting beat on. So I'd rather be the one doing the beating. So again, and then, you deal with it in court. So anyway, I ended up going to court. I ended up pleading to attempted possession of a criminal weapon in the fourth degree, a misdemeanor. They gave me a year probation. And the funny part was, at the time, I was working at Bailey's Holiday Health and Fitness as an instructor. And my probation officer worked out at the gym. So I would see her all the time at the gym, so I would, the year went by fast, and, she realized pretty quickly that I was not, some kind of horrible criminal, that I just was caught up in a situation. Generally, what I've always done is I mind my business. I go to work, I go home. If I go out with friends, and, try to avoid stuff. Try to avoid it, but sometimes you can't. So when you are in that situation where you cannot avoid it, you better be ready to do what you need to do. So I thought this was important. Always be the one making the decisions, okay, in that type of a situation. Always be the one to act, not react. I talk about that a lot. Acting as opposed to reacting. Put them on the defensive. Be the aggressor if you have to be, okay? There's a lot of ways you can do that. But you do what you have to do to protect yourself and the people that you're with. So anyway, I hope this video helps. I hope that it makes you think. Everything is always designed to make you think, okay? But obviously the best alternative ever is to avoid it if you possibly can. Obviously, as I've gotten older, I think the last fight that I was in, I was 27 years old. So it's been a long time. Have I been in verbal confrontation since then? Of course I have. But I've tried to avoid fighting if I possibly can. Oh, here comes Mom and Beck. So anyway, I'm going to jump off of here, guys. I'll do a second video later today. I hope everybody's doing well. Remember, we are all in this together. That's important. Remember, we're one race called the human race, and that's important. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Also, remember STD, step, thing, and day. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to do, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is you, okay? Nobody else can stop you. Be smart. Don't listen to negative people. Stay away from negative people, because all they want to do is bring you down and hurt you. So I will talk to you all later. Have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.